Hello, everyone, and welcome to the penultimate installment of the Korok Seed Master Mode Challenge. As you know, we have spent the past year collecting seeds all across the land of Hyrule, and we only have 40 seeds left to go. Which brings us to the start of today's episode, with a rather simple Korok Seed puzzle that's just a pattern that needs to be filled in right here. And as we walk this stone over to its rightful resting place and, well, ultimately fail at having that rock slide into the needed spot on its own, we do need to mention that this is the last of the Korok seeds that we need to locate outside of Hyrule Castle. As a matter of fact, some of the last seeds in today's video will be within the walls of that castle. But before we get to that point, we still need to finish the things on the outskirts, which includes seed number 862, which is located right behind this bombable wall that we can blast away. And then pick up the rock hiding underneath it. After claiming our goods from here, we can move on to the next seed of our overall adventure, which is, to no one's surprise, another rock that is just kind of hanging out on the edge of a cliff. And fortunately, we shouldn't have to see too many more of these, or Korok seeds in general. I don't know that I'll really hunt down any Korok seeds in future playthroughs beyond the ones that I happen to stumble across, but we'll see. Seed number 864 is going to be a nice little pinwheel, and this one is an archery puzzle, of course, but this one makes use of the acorn, which has made a couple of appearances throughout the series. This acorn, as you can see, it rises over the top of the trees right here, and you don't need to use the Fenric bow or the golden bow for this one. I do find that it's a little bit easier to track down and get a better read on where that seed is located. Though if you end up too far away on the front or the lip of that trunk, you will not be able to complete your shot, which is a little bit unfortunate. And the other benefit of using the golden bow is you know exactly where your arrow's going, you just need to adjust for travel time. But that, apart from wasting one singular arrow on that shot, was really all we needed there. Before moving on to a very unique puzzle in the sense of filling in the trays in front of statues. But before doing so, I would highly advise that you take out this Guardian, and since our weapons are a little bit lackluster, the best method for us to do so is going to be using the Guardian Laser Parry. And this just so happens to be not one of my better runs, as you saw that I lost 2 shields on that. But at the end of the day, we ended up taking him out, and I actually kind of like the sped up music for whatever reason. It just seems like it's got a very grindy vibe to it. When trying to place this shield in the tray, you need to remember that any items you discard come off the back side of Link instead of out in front of him like normal dropped items. So just face your back towards that tray and then drop the shield into place. Seed number 866 is a simple little dive into a ring of lily pads, and I think it's safe to say those are the last lily pads that we will ever need to dive through, as I don't see there being any large pools of water that we can dive into within Hyrule Castle. But I could be wrong. Seed number 876 is another pattern that we'll need to complete. This one, I tried to toss the rock into the formation, but it didn't want to go that way because I ended up stepping over the wall before having a chance to hurdle the rock towards here. So we'll just place it in the center. Probably wouldn't have slid its way in there on its own anyway. But not to worry, as at the end of the day, we still ended up collecting the seed, and that allows us to move right along to the next one, which is a nice little balloon that's hiding within the branches of this tree near the outskirt wall. Now, yes, I shot that with an arrow. I probably could have conserved it and just thrown a bomb out in that general direction, but I might be experiencing a little bit of whiplash from what happened last week, so don't yell at me too harshly. Seed number 869 is going to be a balloon archery puzzle with a very perplexing balloon pattern, just where they all rotate in a circular motion but at different speeds and occasionally synchronize up at the same spot. But after a couple of well-placed shots, we have all 5 balloons burst, and we can collect our seed before moving on to the next one. Now, this seed that we're looking for here is one that we have to shoot into this crest. You can tell from the arrows that are located there, and you can actually collect them off of that if you're running low on a few, or, I mean, it never hurts to have some extra arrows in your inventory. And then for the final shot, I wanted to do a backflip off the top before activating my archery mode in the air to make sure that I crack that shot, as to not have to deal with the guardian that's patrolling the grounds. Seed number 871 is our last time trial seed that we'll be doing, and this one is going to involve us, well, paragliding from the top of the ramparts in towards the central fountain here in the middle of Hyrule. And this one was not one of my better works because of the goop that we had to trek through, or that calamity ooze. But we do end up making it into the central fountain, and now it's just a swift climb up to the top of the wreckage here in order to interact with the ring and claim our rewards from here. We can then move right along swiftly to the next seed in our adventure, which is a simple little magnet door, which we haven't seen one of these in many episodes, but after throwing that out of the way, we can go ahead and grab the rock that was resting underneath it, collect the seed from here, and then move on to the next one, which coincidentally is just a stone's throw to the left. And you'll notice that by it being the massive flagpole that's right here. We covered a couple of these in the previous episode. We'll just want to make our way to the top of this flagpole as well in order to interact with the fairy lights waiting for us there. But we have to play dodgeball with another guardian, which is always a joy, especially when they have more of a vertical range than you expected that they probably would. However, as we make our way up to the top here, he seems to lose sight and interest of us, so we can casually leap up to the top and interact with the fairy lights, and even if he had locked onto us, we would have had a completely refreshed stamina to glide away and get away from that guardian before having to encounter another one. We can then leap off the top of that flagpole and take a swift little glide down here to the last pile of leaves that we will need to clear off of a rock. And I would have had this one a lot quicker if it weren't for these stall moblins that are stalking me all over the place. Now, they do like to pick up things and throw them at you. I didn't know that they could throw pots, but I guess they can. So we'll just kind of skirt around the things they're throwing at us, though thankfully they do not pick up the rock that the Korok is located under, which will assure that we can claim the seed from here. We can then move along to the interior of Hyrule Castle after activating a cutscene that ensures us that we are in for some trouble. And yes, we have the Calamity Ganon circling the tallest spire of Hyrule Castle, and he's intimidating, to say the least. But such is where we are, and we only have 26 seeds to go, 6 of which will be featured in today's video. And the first of those is none other than seed number 875, which is a flower path that takes place underneath the bridge of the castle here. And I've made this mistake before of trying to climb in the rain, so I'm not going to repeat that, and I'll just go ahead and hang out here until the rain dissipates, which is right about now. So we can then continue on our path. Now, something that is a little bit annoying is that there are some of these flying guardians that will hone in on you as you are trying to track down this flower path, but as long as you play your positioning strategically with the tiny little spires here across that drawbridge, you should be able to collect all of the flowers in that path and claim your reward at the other side. But once you've done that, you'll actually want to trek back out onto that bridge to get the next seed, which is a little acorn that we'll need to shoot down from this little rampart down here. If I'd been thinking ahead, I probably would have done this before tracking down the flower path, but I am not the greatest planner, so we went ahead and glided down and collected that seed before climbing not only to the top of that drawbridge, but also the little rampart that take place on top of it with the magnetic door. There is a simple little rock hanging out up here that we can lift off the top of this poor little guy's head, claim our reward, and then move into increasingly hostile territory. And a couple of these, or most of them, are going to involve arrow puzzles, at least the ones that we're looking at today. The first one is going to be a little crest that we need to shoot right here, and to ensure that I do not miss that shot, I do switch over to the golden bow one more time to hit that crest right in the very center and collect the seed. Before, well, climbing up to other parts of these ramparts for yet more archery. This one is going to be basically right above where we just took that shot, and it's a very far shot over to the top of that ruined tower, but we get it on our first go with the help of the golden bow, and we can claim this seed before moving along to our next one as well. This one is going to be yet another archery puzzle that is timed out a little bit awkwardly due to the presence of these balloons behind the malice, and, well, it's just a matter of getting the patterns down on some of them and finding where the others peek out from around that malice, because they do stop. Now, since we have a good angle on this one, we'll go ahead and crack that with a singular shot there. The next one that zips up and down along this trajectory, it goes a little bit slower, so we can grab that one. And this final balloon is the one that's probably the most annoying of the three, because it dances back and forth pretty quickly, and also the most obstructed between the shots that we're needing to take. But after getting the pattern down, we can land that shot very easily and claim this seed for ourselves. And that is going to do it until the finale, which will be next week. So make sure you subscribe so you get the notification when that video goes live. But thanks again for watching, and have a great rest of your day.